So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about love languages. There are 5 total categories of love languages. Within each category, you can break it down into smaller categories, but there are 5 total recognized categories of love languages. So maybe you may already recognize that some people don't accept and give love the same way that you do. Like, maybe you have a sibling or a friend that cannot accept you hugging them. Maybe you know somebody that if you try to hug them, they look like a cat being baptized. And they just sit there like, what are you doing? That doesn't mean that they don't like you, necessarily. Like, I can't say for sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean they don't like you. Everybody gives and receives love a little bit different than the next person. And that's why knowing the different love languages is really, really important to be able to get to know anybody that you want to be able to have a close relationship with. If you want to be able to have a long-lasting relationship with, whether it be a romantic partner, whether it be a friend, or even a family member, you need to be able to understand what their love language is to be able to give and receive love properly. So now you might be asking, what are the 5 love languages? They are words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, giving and receiving gifts, and physical touch. I'm going to go down the list and I'm going to break down what each one entails. Starting with words of affirmation. People with words of affirmation type of love language tend to have words impact them more than other love languages. So, a way that you could positively impact someone with this love language would be, say, they worked hard on doing their hair or makeup, or maybe they're wearing a new cologne or perfume. If you notice this and you compliment them on it, that's something that's going to make them feel very loved. If you compliment them, you compliment something they're doing, and you make it obvious that you notice this thing, and you're going to like prove to them something that they're doing or something about them is positive, that's going to make them feel deeply loved. But on the flip side, they can't handle criticism as well as most of the other love languages. Words affect them deeply. So if you were to tell them you did something really, really badly, that might hit them really deeply, especially if it comes from somebody that they care about. Next up is quality time. If you know somebody that has a quality time love language, this means that the way you can make them feel loved is by giving them your undivided attention. Or even in some cases too, just simply being around them and just being there for them and just spending time with them. This is a good example right here of where the subtypes can come in, which again, we're mostly just talking about the main 5, but this is a good example here, is some people will only feel loved if it's your undivided attention. You're off your phone and you're having meaningful conversations in between. It's undivided attention. That is more common than the latter. And another category in here could also be just simply spending time with the person, like being in the room with them, choosing to sit in the room with this person. Say they're sitting in the living room and you choose to come out of your room so that you could sit with them. That would be something that can make them feel loved. But again, this is still a subcategory, but we're just talking about quality time in general. So quality time more often is giving them your undivided attention. So now, that's how to make them feel loved. But on the flip side, you don't listen to what they're saying or you ignore them, that's going to make them feel unloved. So So the next one is acts of service. So there's two ways that this one can go. So of course there is giving and receiving. And this could still both be one person's love language and still be giving and receiving. Say, we're just going to use me as an example. If this was my love language, maybe I could go out of the way and cook dinner for my partner or do chores around the house as my way of saying I love them. Or maybe I could even ask my partner for help with something because that's also how I see love as being. Maybe I could ask them, hey, I need some help with this project, or I need some help cleaning this thing, because that would be my love language. So if you know somebody that has this love language and they ask for help as part of that love language, that's something that you could be willing to help them. And that would show them that they are loved. If you're willing to accept their acts of service too. Because sometimes some people with this love language, they offer to do things for you repeatedly. They'll offer to help you with things because that's something that'll make them feel loved, that'll make them feel special because they want to help you. That is more common than the latter, but they often want to help you to show you that they love you. And by you accepting it, that usually makes them feel like you need them. On the flip side, if you constantly ignore them wanting to help you and you never want to help them, that can often make them feel like you don't need them in your life. So now we're moving on to giving and receiving gifts. So I'm sure almost all of us have probably gotten at least one gift in our lifetime, whether it be birthday gifts or Christmas gifts. We've probably all gotten gifts before. This is considered a love language. Of course, when you give somebody a gift, that's your way of saying, here, I got this for you. I was thinking about you. So of course, you can already kind of see where this is going. So some people have this as their primary love language. More often, when people have this as their primary love language, it's usually smaller things that are sentimental. So, for example, maybe they know that you spent time picking out a special necklace for them, and maybe it's their favorite color, for example, like mine's silver. Maybe they spent extra time picking out that color and they found a quote or a symbol that you really like and they got it for you, knowing that you like all these things. That's going to be special. Or even sometimes people with this love language as like a primary or a higher up, sometimes it can be things even as small as finding a rock outside that you're like, oh, this person would really, really like this. It's a really pretty color. I'm going to grab this because I'm thinking of this person and I'm going to give it to this person. That's how you would make them feel loved, is because they know you were thinking about them when you found that thing. And you brought it all the way over to the person to be like, look what I found. I was thinking of you. So that makes them feel very loved. Of course, on the flip side, if you never give this person anything, and even if they ask you to help them out and maybe give them something, which that's a lot less common, but that's just a good example here, and you never do that, that can make them feel a lot less loved. Or even too, much more commonly, if you go to get somebody a gift and it's very obvious that there's no thought put into it and it was like a rushed last minute type of gift, that can make them feel in love too. Like a really, really good example of this, as I had said, my favorite color with necklaces tends to be silver. That's the color I wear more commonly. Now, say, this isn't the case for me, but say all of the jewelry I wore was silver. All of the jewelry I owned. And somebody decided to go and get me something gold, fake gold, and it was something for like $1, and they didn't even wrap it, and they were on their phone when they gave it to me, and they're just like, here, I found this thing, because they were obligated to give it to me on Christmas because they didn't want to be the only one not giving me something. Of course, as somebody with a gift type of love language, that would make you feel like, oh, this person didn't actually think of me. They just didn't want to be the only one not to do it. So that would make somebody feel really like down. And the last love language that we're going to be discussing is physical touch. This one is kind of self-explanatory based off the name. This is, of course, people who enjoy touch. For example, like hugs, kisses, cuddling, things like that. Sometimes it could be things like holding hands, or something as small as just literally just poking you. I use that example because I know I used to do that to my mother. I used to poke her and occasionally bite her. I know I'm not the only one that does that. I know that for a fact. But those are examples of physical touch love language. And examples of ways that you could make that person not feel loved would be pushing them away, telling them, don't touch me, or never wanting to hug them, never letting them touch you. Those are all ways to make this person feel like you don't love them. You don't want them around you. But, of course, there are boundaries when it comes to physical touch, because there are a lot of people that don't want to be touched. So, well, yes, this one does require some boundaries, depending on the people. That's all the more reasons why it's so important to understand what everybody's love languages are. Because while one person's love language might be physical touch, the next person might not. They might not enjoy that. So that's about all for this video today. I'm going to be leaving a link below for a quiz that you can go ahead and take if you're curious on what your love language might be. And again, love language can apply to whether it be romantic, family, or friendship. So if you're curious on what your love language might be, you can go ahead and click on the link I have below. It is not my original test. It is just one from online that seems to be one of the best ones I've found. But again, it's not my own link. It's not mine. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.